Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and our first ever NFL betting card show. I'm Meg. You can find me on Twitter at Megs08DFS, and I am super excited to be joined by these two guys. I respect them as sports bettors. I love them as people. I enjoy doing shows with them. So I'm going to introduce these guys first, and then we're going to tell you what NFL betting card on the FanSpeak Network is all about. I'm, of course, joined by SpreadAstaire and Tyler Hicks. So, Spread, I'll go to you first. How are you doing? Are you so excited for week one? I'm about to light my hair on fire. I'm so excited. I know you're heading to Vegas. I need to hear all about that. And yeah, how are you feeling about week one?
Man, I'm so excited. The full summer of work finally comes in. And although this year I did enjoy it a lot more as you introduced me to the world of best ball, I think one of the things I got frustrated consuming NFL content before, right? You get all this great info in July and you're like, I can't see the fruits of the results until, the first week of the season. But now, it feels like we can use all that fun stuff we're learning about these teams and doing our research early in the best ball streets. Now, will that prepare me better for the betting? We will find out, right? Maybe I'm too focused on these skill players. Have I lost my touch deciding which lines are going to dominate? Because, as cool as it is to win those matchups on the outside, we do know that football is a game won in the trenches. But
Sure.
Regardless, I feel prepared. We've got the same model system, and I'll talk to you a little bit about working out the kinks as the season goes on when we get into these game-by-game breakdowns. But overall, I couldn't be more excited. And, the seasons are changing. Football's here.
Thank goodness. I have been counting down probably since we got into the double digits since 99. I am, much happier in football season than out of football season. So the dog days are summer over, fall's here, football's here. Tyler, I'm so excited. You're joining us on the show each and every week. How are you doing? Are you so pumped for week one as well?
Oh, definitely pumped for week one. You called them the dog days of summer. Me and my buddies call them the dark ages of summer because me and Spread, we bet NBA and NFL for the most part. Once we hit summertime, we aren't big baseball guys. We just tell our guys like Joey work in the baseball atmosphere.
Yep.
But outside of that, we just kind of hang out for the summertime. So knowing week one starts tomorrow, it's fun. Can't wait for football to be back. And I'm happy to be over here on FanSpeak picking some winners.
Absolutely. Well, before we get started, before I tell you what we're going to be doing each and every week, and by the way, if you're joining us, be sure to like this episode and, of course, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network so you get updated when the show goes live each and every week. But, Spread, tell me a little bit about your betting background and your betting style. I think we probably all three have a little bit different betting styles, and that's what makes this show fun.
Yeah, well, I've started, let's see, boy, I'm getting old. Probably about 25 years ago, donking off all my poker winnings and by taking a bunch of favorites. In the NBA and the NFL, and quickly learn that, hey, Philadelphia -7 isn't always going to cover just because they have Allen Iverson. So was really recreational at that point. And then I would say closer to 2008, 2009, I started to take it more seriously, like especially as poker got shut down. So that started me on actually like predictive modeling.
Yeah.
And because it was kind of, things were different back then. We weren't as interconnected. Yeah. So I thought I had like this really advanced model, and my model is really basic. And Tyler can attest to that. My very few inputs. And I thought I was so advanced because most of the people I knew were just looking at the teams and reading articles and saying, oh, the favorite's going to kick their ass, things like that. So then, when Twitter came around and I actually started networking with other sports bettors, I realized that, hey, maybe this isn't the most advanced sports betting model. But the thing was, one thing Whale always told me that stuck with me. He goes, well, if it's working, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to have 17 inputs if it's working for you. And I think that's because I do run the numbers all the time. Like I said, it's fairly simple. But we're using it as a guide, right? And Tyler and I were talking about the projections. And just because it says to bet a team, we're not necessarily going to do it. We just use it as a guide, a starting point to begin our conversation. So having Tyler's helped me a lot because I have someone to audit my numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so, talked earlier, a bunch of unders are coming up. So I already know it's not perfect. It's not dialed in. So I like to do a little bit of what I did before, right? Just watching the games and who do you think is going to win and matchups you like to exploit. but then mixing that with actually some math and just find out, hey, are these numbers backing what I'm seeing? Because we obviously have confirmation bias. In the NFL, we can get pretty close, but I know in the NBA, we can't watch every game, right?
Right.
So, hey, is it just because I watched the TNT game that I think this about this team and they're not doing this all the time? So it's a blend, it's a mix. And there's also a lot of, when you're my age, right? I cut the little gray goatee off, but there's a lot of gray here. You trust yourself, right? Because it's a lot of just your subconscious experience that I might not be able to verbalize to you right now. But you do get, feelings and you do think, and you might not be able to remember exactly why, but it's like, boy, it doesn't feel good. Right. If you get a card and you took every favorite,
right.
That doesn't feel good. Right. Even though my math said I should take every favorite, I already know from my life experience, you don't take every favorite on the board. That's not going to work. If it did, there wouldn't be these beautiful giant casinos in Vegas with huge sports books, right? And brand new screens because everybody would win. So, use some experience, use some math, and then, of course, use scouting reports. And the great thing about having Twitter and the internet now is you can network with people and find people who are better at watching tape than you and lean on their opinions as well. So I'd like to say I have a balanced approach to betting.
I was going to say, I think that's a nice blended hybrid approach. And speaking of in Vegas, you're going to go kind of network with some of those other sports bettors in Vegas for opening weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. It'll be my first time down there for NFL Week 1. And I know that's kind
awesome.
of that one and March Madness are the two that kind of everyone seems to get there for. So I'll be excited. And of course, I'll be talking about the show we're doing here on the FanSpeak Network, the betting card. So let everyone know what we're doing over here.
Please. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Tyler, let's go over to you. Tell me just a little bit about, your betting experience, betting style, and a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, Spread may have been betting for 25 years, but I was 1 year old when he started his betting career. I have not been betting that long. I've only been betting for a few years. I'm only 26 years old. But I've had the luxury of being surrounded by a bunch of guys that have went through those experiences that Spread's talking about, the betting all the favorites and trying to parlay them, not winning. So I was taught that at a young age that you don't do that. I started off with our guy, Matt Dixon. I met him through a job I had back right a couple years out of high school. He introduced me to betting. And then he actually introduced me to our guy, Keg, the Sports Keg, who runs that website over there.
Yeah.
Picked up with those guys, and then we linked up, ended up over at Rumpier Sports for a little bit. And now we're out on our own, doing our own thing. We're over here at FanSpeak doing the NFL betting card show with you. Yeah. And working with Spread's been awesome. I mean, auditing his numbers, we find spots, and it's nice having two guys do it because we have times where Spread gets in these moments where he just keeps wanting to bet overs. All the numbers project overs, but you look at the actual numbers of the results and we're getting a bunch of unders or it's too close to 50-50. So it's nice to be able to give and take on those. We find spots, and we were up 41 units last year in the NBA. So we were able to make that work. And I think we're going to be able to make it work again this year.
I like it. You guys are like the perfect blend, perfect team. How long have you guys been betting then together? The two of you working as a team, like auditing each other's numbers and everything.
It's been Spread 2.5, 3 years.
3 years. Okay, then 3 or 4.
I think it's even earlier. When did we start the live show? I mean, he wasn't running my projections with me back then, but we were.
So probably close to 4 years.
We were doing the live numbers, and it was kind of working the same way, right, Tyler? Because you remember one thing we do is just target, especially in NBA totals, but for NFL, you can do this as well. Just target the free teaser. And the idea, right, on the teaser, I'm paying minus 280 to get an extra 6 points. So if I see, there's 2 quick touchdowns in the Lions and the Chiefs, and this total goes from, I see 52.5 right now, it goes up to 58.5. Well, now I'm getting that teaser number live, right? So doing things like that. But we talk about it because maybe he'd say, you know what, even 58.5, this is still going to go over.
Yep.
We're doing a lot of that. So probably some, but not as fine tuning, but auditing the numbers back then as we were live betting. And then now we've been focusing more on hammering the pregame stuff.
Yeah, well, I love it. And this is why I love doing a show with you guys, because I'm definitely more of a recreational sports bettor. I've been playing DFS for 10 years, I guess over 10 years now. This is now my second year really taking best ball seriously. And I've probably been seriously in the sports betting streets for about 2 years. It was legal in Virginia a couple years ago where my family lives. I'm in Maryland, went legal last football season. So it's really been just a couple years of really getting into the sports betting because my unit size is, a little smaller, I do like to take, I'll do the spreads and the totals and that kind of stuff, but I do like to pick my spots on the underdogs and get that plus money. Or I do like to, just have those fun in-game sweats, like betting a couple anytime touchdowns and just sweating. I mean, that is just one of the most fun bets. First touchdown, anytime touchdowns. They're just fun sweats. Like, I'm not putting a lot of money on it. So if I lose, it's no big deal. But, I hit a lot of them not a lot, but a good bit of them, enough to, have a lot of fun with it last season, where I would just pick 3 anytime touchdowns, and it just made, especially an Island primetime game, so much fun. Same with the full first touchdown thing. I do like doing some of the same game parlays. I know FanDuel especially is really good about letting you kind of take the different, even if you find some props that you think are mispriced, you can grab a prop from 3 different games, parlay them together. I like doing that kind of stuff because, again, I'm betting small units on that. I know it's not the plus EV bet. I'm very aware of that, but I am looking forward to learning the very responsible plus EV type stuff from you guys. And then just kind of bringing a lot of the recreational fun, kind of just fun sweat type bets to the show as well, and putting my little spin on. When I used to do NBA shows with you, my favorite bet was, let's parlay 3 3-pointer, 3 guys to hit, 3 threes. It's just fun. It's a fun sweat. So same with the anytime touchdown thing. So that's why I think this is going to be a great blend between the 3 of us. And that's the deal. So every single Thursday at 3:00, we will be live. Today it's special because Wednesday, just a little earlier this week, it's a wild week, but every Thursday, every week, we will go live at 3:00. And the whole thing of the NFL betting card is we're each going to give you our favorite spread, our favorite money line, our favorite prop, our favorite anytime touchdown. And then because it's going to be on Thursday and we're giving you an extra day this week, we're going to give you some of our favorite first touchdown, anytime touchdowns for that Thursday night game. We're going to maybe even build a Thursday night same game parlay, maybe touch on the showdown slate. I will be doing a sibling showdown with my brother every Wednesday or Thursday. And so that'll be up on the FanSpeak Network. Actually, I'll taping that later today. So that will be up later. Check out Sibling Showdown to get a full breakdown on this Thursday night showdown slate. We'll be using Run the Sims, which is a great tool. Check out Run the Sims. So yes, check out our showdown show, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network, and be sure to bookmark or keep in mind every Thursday at 3, join us live to get these NFL betting card bets. But the best part is, these guys' bets, my brother's bets, they're all going to be on our actual NFL betting card up on fanspeak.com. You can find it on the homepage. If you click sports betting, there's a big tab up the top, NFL betting card. So it'll all be there as well. So with that, I'm ready to jump into it. How about you guys?
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right, let's go. So first, we're going to talk our favorite spread of the week. And it makes sense for me to go to you, Spread. What is your favorite spread of the week and why?
All right. Now, it's funny. So primetime games, we don't force it. One of the things, right, because I think we're catering here to some newer bettors. Yeah. One of the things I think that we should always ask ourselves when we're betting a primetime game is, would we bet this game if it was Sunday at 10 a.m. and we had 8 to choose from?
Sure. Yeah.
Do we really like this play, or are we forcing the action because we really are excited about the game and we're going to relax and watch it and we want to have something on it? So that's kind of a quick, easy criteria I like to use. Am I betting this game for the sake of betting it? Would I bet it at Sunday if it was at 10 a.m. and you have 8 to 9 games to choose from? But I'm going to go ahead and give you a primetime game. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the Monday night game. The Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets. I've talked to you before about my skepticism about the Jets this year. Yes, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade. I don't think that that's the craziest idea, but is he going to be that good? And also, did that team kind of outperform at the beginning of last year? I mean, look at this Jets team. They closed the year 1-5 against the spread, and they lost their last 6 games. So while they started out great, it was not a consistent effort. Then you're going against a Buffalo Bills team that I think, because of not that the way they lost that playoff game, right?
Yeah.
If they lost by a 3-point shootout, right? Burrow drives him down at the field, or Allen's got a chance and he just comes up a bit short right towards the end. I think there would be a different view around this team, but we talked about all the things that team was going through going into that playoff game. I don't think we got the best version of those Buffalo Bills. So as a result, I believe the Jets are being a tad bit overvalued by the addition of Aaron Rodgers, and the Bills are being a bit undervalued. Buffalo traditionally done pretty well here against the Jets. They're actually 4-1 straight up in their last 5 in New York. They're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 against the Jets. So this Buffalo team's been consistently beating them. And I know we're going to say Aaron Rodgers. It's his first game, new team, new system, going against one of the absolute juggernauts of the league. Give me the Buffalo Bills minus 2.5.
Okay. I like it. Spread goes the Monday night game, Buffalo Bills minus 2.5. I'll go over to you, Tyler. What is your favorite spread of the week and why?
Yeah, I want to touch on Spread's pick. Love that pick. I think Buffalo comes out after that AFC playoff debacle they had last year, and they just want to bounce back with a nice win. So I think they put it on the Jets on Monday night. As for mine, I'm going to go with a game I think might fly under the radar for some people. I don't think people are really going to target this game. Give me the biggest overreaction of them all when you look at lines when it comes to week 1. Give me Green Bay plus 1.5 versus Chicago. I know Chicago made the bright addition of DJ Moore to give Justin Fields a guy to throw to, but outside of that, they really didn't make many additions on this team. Their defense is still one of the weakest units in the league. You look at Green Bay's defense, it's still solid. It's one of the better units in the league. It wouldn't surprise us all here if they were a top 5 unit in the league. Their offense still has weapons. I know Watson and Dubes aren't practicing today, but I still expect maybe one of them to play, probably both of them play. It's week 1. They're both going to give it a go.
Yeah.
You have Jaden Reed also. They drafted 2 tight ends, Musgrave, and I can't think the other guy's name's eluding me right now. I know they
Croft,
grabbed him
I think.
Yeah, Croft, Tyler Croft. They grabbed him in the 3rd round. They're going to use a lot of running too. They have Dylan and Jones still there. Their offensive line's still solid. The only question mark is Jordan Love. But against a weak Chicago defense, and you look at Fields' numbers versus this Green Bay defense, he's averaging a passer rating of 70.7. He only has 722 yards passing over 4 games. He's thrown 3 touchdowns in those games, and he's thrown 6 interceptions. You're going to have Jari Alexander on DJ Moore, one of the best corners in the league. It's going to slow him down. He really doesn't have any weapons outside of that. I think Green Bay wins a slugfest here. Give me the plus 1.5.
I love that. I was on Green Bay too, so I am happy to get some confirmation on that. I love to hear it. My spread, yes, I do have Washington stuff behind me. I am a diehard Washington fan. I will promise you I will not be a homer in homer picks all season. But come on, it's the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even know. We don't even know if it's Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs starting for Arizona. It is a new owner at home. There's actually going to be home field advantage. I know from friends and family wanting to go to these games now that there's actually a home field advantage back in Washington, and fans actually want to go to the games again now that Dan Snyder. So it's I'm bringing kind of like that realism narrative street. I think they're going to want to put it on. I think they're going to put on a show for the fans and kind of pile it on, quite honestly. I don't think this is just going to be like, 17-7 slugfest. Which even then they'd cover the spread. But my point is, I think they're going to pile it on. I think the spread could be 14 and I'd bet it. I just think they're going to crush this team. The defense is going to be, I think, a top defense. Both they made improvements in the secondary, and the defensive line has always been kind of the strength of the defense. Obviously, Chase Young coming back. And then, Sam Howell's a wild card, but so far all reports are looking pretty darn good. McLaurin, we'll see on the toe. It sounds like he has a chance to go. But even if he didn't, quite honestly, I still like the lines. It's -7 Washington. To me, I think they're going to win by multiple touchdowns. So to me, that's an easy one for me. I promise I won't be a homer the whole entire season. But for my first one, it's -7 Washington. They're going to put on a show at home.
Don't say you're betting on Washington. Just say you're betting against Arizona.
Okay, there you go. I'm not being a homer.
For my very first pick, I'm betting against Arizona.
Yeah, my very first pick, I'm not being a homer. I'm betting against Arizona. I'm betting against Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs against this Washington defense, which again, I think is going to be a top-ranked unit this year. So yes, I am betting against Arizona. Give me Washington -7. That's an easy one. I've already booked it. So That's what's great. We'll have other spreads and money lines up. Again, check out our full NFL betting card, closer to Sunday. We'll have it set for tomorrow. Thursday, we'll have all our Thursday bets up on the NFL betting card. And then by Sunday, we'll have our favorite bets of all these different types up on our NFL betting card before all the Sunday games. So be sure to check it out. These are just our favorites. So now let's go to favorite money line. Spread, I'll go back to you first. What is your favorite money line bet that you're taking this week?
All right. I love my tough guy coaches. Mike Vrabel fits that bill.
I like it.
He takes his what I feel is undervalued Tennessee Titans down to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Now, the Saints have been a very good home team, but Tennessee's been able to overcome that, and I think that's because they match up well and they play a similar style. Tennessee's won 4 of their last 5 in New Orleans straight up, which is why, of course, I will bet the spread as well, but I'm pretty confident laying the money line here. This is a really good Tennessee team. I believe the Tannehill's getting a little bit undervalued now. I mean, he's going last in best ball. I'm like, 2 years ago, he had top 5 fantasy numbers.
Right.
And I think the problem last year was he didn't. He needs a guy that can make catches while he's being covered, and DeAndre Hopkins will give him that outlet. He doesn't need separation to make plays, which should in turn open things up for Treylon Burks. I expect him after a really inconsistent. We saw the flashes there, but he didn't bring it for us every week.
He's raw. He needed some time, I think. Yeah.
But having Hopkins there to take all that attention, I think will help out Burks. In best ball, we've talked about he's probably going to be a spike week player, but we're fine with that. And then, of course, nice tight end Okonkwo. One thing that I liked from this team as well was they have Tyjae Spears. Maybe take a little bit of load off Derrick Henry. He's on pace for over 400 carries last year. Don't know if we want to do that with him at this age, but I do like Tennessee Titans a lot. The two concerns, of course, are the weakened defense and the offensive line. I trust Vrabel to get that defense done. And New Orleans, I don't know how they have the defensive line to take advantage of Tennessee's offensive line deficiencies there. So give me the Tennessee Titans money line.
Love it. I think we kind of talked earlier and we all kind of like that one. So I think that's a great pick. I think the Saints team, I think they're going to be interesting. To me, they're kind of the whole NFC South as a wild card, in my opinion. Who's going to come out of that? I have no clue. And I wouldn't even, I'm not trying to bet it, but I don't know. I think it's going to take some time with Carr and I'm not super impressed with the head coach of the Saints. So I like that bet a lot because you're betting on the coach, like you said, the tough guy coach, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins. I like it. Tyler, I'll go over to you. What's your favorite money line this week?
We're going to head out to the West Coast for this game.
Like it.
We're going to fade the Chargers here. We're going to take Miami plus that 136. Ooh. What have the Chargers done to be favored in this game? Tua's coming into this game healthy, and we see Miami was one of the best teams in the AFC last year when he was healthy. So unless the Chargers are going to knock them out in week 1, this offense is going to be potent. I know they lost Jeff Wilson on IR, and the rookie is questionable, the running back. I don't want to butcher his name. And they also have Mostert still there. Mostert could run right through this Chargers defense. I know they're pretty healthy, but they still haven't been able to stop the run over the last few years. Hill and Waddle can get open against any corner in the league. Their offensive line is still stacked, and they made additions on the defense too, which are just going to give the Chargers problems. I think you could see Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They're both made of glass. Maybe somebody pulls a hammy in this game.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I have so much exposure in best ball.
Hopefully not, because I do have some too, but it's the two guys.
But don't you have a bunch of Palmer to try and make up for that?
Oh, yeah,
Tyler?
Yeah, it took Palmer late.
Yeah, he was loving some Palmer off that idea.
I think he's a great pick late. Yeah. But with that, I still hope I hope the Hammies hang in there for most of the season.
Yeah, I also think we have a pretty big coaching advantage here. Like Brandon Staley's not a good coach in the NFL. Everyone just keeps talking up the Kellen Moore addition to run the offense. But Mike McDaniel's going to coach circles around this team. I think it's going to be a shootout. And in the end, I think Miami pulls it off. I'll take that plus 136 on them.
I like it. And that's definitely a game that I think me and pretty much everybody else is circling for DFS week 1, just potential, like you said, just big potential points, potential shootout. So I definitely like that. Tyler, I'm going with your team on this one on the money line. We talked about this, but listen, I actually do believe Brock Purdy can be a good distributor can be fine with the 49ers. I know, they're very, kind of polarizing different opinions about him being the quarterback of the future for them. I think he's fine. I think he can distribute the ball and still, function well in this Shanahan offense. But without Nick Bosa, I think Pittsburgh is going to be taking a major leap this year. We've talked about this I really like a big breakout year for Pickett and Pickens, second year breakout. They beefed up that offensive line. People have been down on Najee Harris all summer long. I know Jaylen Warren has talent too, but Najee is their workhorse. And if he's healthy this year, remember, he wasn't healthy the first basically half of last year. They got Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, Pickens, Najee. I mean, I really, really am bullish on this Steelers offense, especially without Nick Bosa at home. Yeah, give me Steelers. I believe it's plus 120 as dogs at home. I'll take the home dog with the Steelers. You backing that there, Tyler?
Oh, I love that bet, Meg. I think that's the bet of the week. I think they're a great teaser spot, teasing them up to 8.5. Oh. And I got a question for our guy Spread, because this has to do with his team, the Raiders. Is Najee and Josh Jacobs kind of like the same player? After a couple years, they wanted to throw him in the drain. Is this running back just getting there on volume, and then all of a sudden the offensive line gets a little better, and boom, the guy just explodes and just runs for over, 1,200 yards, looks like a stud running back. Everyone's sitting here all offseason saying who's going to be the next Josh Jacobs. I think it might be Najee Harris. We know Pittsburgh loves the pound rock.
Love it.
I'd love to see that. Najee Harris, a NorCal guy, grew up in Northern California. So, of course, we're rooting for him here. And if he stays healthy, there's going to be a great chance because he's going to get that same usage like Jacobs did, right? A lot of that comes into are you getting featured on 75% of the snaps or more? Yeah. And Pittsburgh has shown an inclination to do that.
And I know everyone loves the Jaylen Warren hype coming out of preseason. But they've had these stud running backs before, and even when they had D'Angelo Williams backing up Le'Veon Bell, he didn't get to see the field all that much behind Bell, and Bell was still a volume guy, so Najee's still going to get a lot of that volume.
Yeah, he's going to get the volume, and people forget he was hurt the first half of last season.
Liz Frank and your foot is nothing you want to deal with either.
Exactly. So I just think that is being kind of just blown past by the public. And the fact that the coaching staff has come out and said, this is our workhorse. He is our back. So I think the people that think this is going to be more like a 60-40 or kind of, I've heard as much as like 55-45, those kind of splits. I think it's mainly Najee's backfield. I still think he's getting 20 plus touches a game. I really think it's interesting. And again, I promise I won't talk about best ball all season long, but I hope my best ball shares will be very happy if we're right on this. And he is this year's Josh Jacobs. Mike Whalen in the chat says, good show. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live or if you're watching on replay, please be sure to hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. Every Thursday at 3, we're going to be doing this. And this is your guy, Clyde, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What does he say? My guess is Spread gets a dub in Raiders Stadium before the actual team.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to be winning with these picks I'm giving out right now, Clyde. So they got to win. They might not get a chance because they're going to be winning in Denver this week, Clyde, getting that upset there. I almost threw them in there, but I didn't want to get flagged as a homer. But if you guys want a bonus pick, Raiders, let me give you a couple of fun ones there that I keep harping on. 5-0 straight up in their last 5 against Denver, and 10-1 ATS against the Broncos in their last 11. So it's a team we match up well with. You want a little bonus money line? I think the Raiders can shock some teams there.
Let's go. A bonus money line.
Here's the thing in the NFL. Nobody's ever as bad as they look, and nobody's ever really as good as they look. And I think that, the Raiders could be one of those teams that turns things around. I don't think that they're really going to compete for the FC, but I could see them having a winning record this year if they can close out some of those games they did last year. I don't know if they're necessarily as bereft of talent as someone leads you to believe. I mean, I've heard them be compared to Arizona and Houston.
Oh,
and I think those teams are much farther away from being competitive.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Okay, now we're going to go to our third type of bet that we're all giving our favorite bet on the NFL betting card, and that is our favorite prop of the week. Didn't find a ton yet that I liked. I still want to dig more, but I'll go over to you first, Spread. What is your favorite prop so far that you found this week?
If Najee Harris is going to be RB1, he's going to have to overcome this man, and it's Nick Chubb, and we like him to go over 77 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's see if the Bengals get off to a slow start. Tyler and I were going back and forth, and I said, wow, Joe Burrow's missed preseason the last couple of years, right? And then what'd you tell me that Burrow did against the Steelers last season to start the year after he missed all the preseason?
I think he threw 3 picks. The defense scored a touchdown. He got sacked
five sacks. Times. Yeah. So, it could be a slow start here, and that's all we need for this number to go over. I mean, Cincinnati can win the game. I can't have them go up 21-3 early, right, and turn it into a spread offense. But, with us expecting Cincinnati to start kind of slow, wouldn't be surprised to see a nice close game, and that is a recipe for Nick Chubb to go over this. If you could tell me that we know it's going to be a close game, the number is going to be about 95, 96.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a little worried here about the blowout with the Bengals being one of the best teams in the league. But I do believe the Browns can keep it close. Give me Nick Chubb over 77 yards.
I think that's great value. And I'm going to get to Tyler's in a minute. But Clyde, I don't have a ton of experience in the survivor streets. But yeah, why don't we get Washington off week 1? Just check them off, right? Pick Washington
because the two ones you look at are Washington and Baltimore.
Yeah.
But think in your head, which one would you rather have in your pocket for later in the year?
Baltimore. So, yeah.
As much as, hey, I'd love to have these Commanders pom-poms with you.
Yeah.
A lot of us is just fading Arizona. Right. And I'll be curious, just fading Arizona might be a good strategy for like the first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And just use up these teams, right? I know we're probably going to want to save, the 49ers and the Seahawks maybe, but and I haven't looked at Arizona's schedule, but I did that last year. I mean, there's certain teams you just
fade the team.
Win against the Texans every time, and it worked well.
Yeah, that seems like a strategy. Okay, I'll go over to you next, Tyler. Favorite prop of the week so far?
Yeah, I'm actually going to touch on Thursday night's game, Meg. I'm going to take a prop that I just seen pop up in the last couple hours. I think this number is wrong, just judging on Detroit's receivers' numbers. When you look at their receiving yards, you got them on Ross St. Brown at 77.5. Fully understandable. Wide receiver 1, going to get probably double-digit targets in this game. Yeah. Probably goes over 100, like our guy Clyde said in the chat.
I was going to say, let me put that up. He's on it. He's on it. Yeah.
But then you look down the list. You got your guy Laporta playing the tight end spot. He's at 30.5. You got Marvin Jones at 27.5. You got Gibbs at 31.5. Josh Reynolds coming in at 23.5 when he's probably going to be wide receiver 2 on this Detroit team.
Yep.
We know he has the chemistry with Goff. He looked good in weeks last year early when he had the chances. There's no Jameson Williams to take targets away from him. I think he could have a big game here on Thursday night. They're going to key in on St. Brown. That 23.5 is too low. He could do that one catch. Give me the over there.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I'm definitely a fan of that. There was a couple that jumped out, and we'll definitely get into that later, but I love that. To kick off the season hot. I'm going to go with a guy that I really did like in the best ball streets. And I just think this is a guy whose prop line all season long is going to go higher than this. So I want to take advantage of this number. I saw a line on DK Sportsbook for Calvin Ridley over 61.5. And to me, I think this is the alpha. Yes, Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram put him on a show last year with Lawrence. But I just think that, yes, Calvin Ridley, we haven't seen him, but this is an alpha receiver. And I'm going to go ahead and say he'll be an alpha week 1 and easily surpass this line. So I think this could be a guy more like in the Jamar Chase, elk that we will be trying to bet more like over 75, and a half or something like that. So give me the over 61.5, because I think that's way too low for this type of receiver. So that's what I'm targeting this week. Very, very bullish on, of course, the Jaguars and Ridley, just off the jump. So, okay. So we covered spread. We covered money line. We covered props. Again, these will all be up on the NFL betting sheet on fanspeak.com. So be sure to check out our NFL betting card on fanspeak.com, for the Thursday night game, for the Monday night games every week, but also we'll have our bets up that we like for, of course, what we're talking through for our full Sunday card and everything. These are just our favorites. So now let's get to my favorite one each and every week. And again, these are sometimes that I like to go full DGen and parlay together, sometimes, especially on island games. And we'll get to that later for the Thursday night game. But I'm talking on Sunday or any game this week, anytime touchdown spread. Who is your favorite anytime touchdown this week?
You guys want to help me out here? I have two that I want to use.
I couldn't narrow it down between like six. Okay, let me hear.
Okay, so I have a Devontae Adams at plus 129.
Okay, I like,
And a guy that you just mentioned, Calvin Ridley, is plus 129. Yep. Which one do we like better there? I think because of the opposition, I want to go Ridley.
Yeah, I want Ridley. Those corners are terrible in Indy. He's going to have a day.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a day. I'm interested in DFS. I'm interested in prop betting, anytime touchdowns. Let's just check them all off the list.
All right. Well, thanks for the help, guys. We're going Calvin Ridley. You already gave the reasons, but this is another best ball play, right? Because everyone playing best ball with us believes in Ridley too.
Yeah.
In July, Meg, when you started helping me, going round 4. Yeah. I've seen him go as high as pick 14. Over the Labor Day weekend.
Oh, so he was locked in the second round. Yeah,
people have caught on. Once that tape of him came out and we saw that, hey, he did not spend this time off, this suspended time. He was not gaining weight. He was not partying. He kept himself in shape. Exactly. He looked sharp, less wear and tear on his body. Quarterback in the second year of his system with an elite coach that's really developing him. And this is a great quarterback talent. Let's go with Calvin Ridley plus 129.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, again, let's take Calvin Ridley everywhere we can. Our guy Clyde likes Hurts. Hey, the tush push is still legal, right? So, I mean, why not? I think you still get plus odds on Hurts. So I like that call, Clyde. Tyler, let's go over to you. Favorite anytime touchdown of the week?
Favorite one, I'm going to go a little higher on the odds here. We're going to go a little deeper into the guys. We're going to go back to Spread's favorite underdog, though, that Tennessee game. When you look at the Saints defense, they really only have one corner, and Marshawn Lattimore's probably going to cover DeAndre Hopkins. That probably leaves Treylon Burks running down the other sideline by himself at some point. I like it. You could find him wide open for a big touchdown. He's back fully healthy after that injury he had early in training camp. I haven't seen any news on him bad. He looks very good in those last couple preseason games, and we're getting a plus 290 on him to score a touchdown in week 1. I think we got a nice shot on that. That'll be my anytime touchdown bet. And just one other one, Meg, same odds, plus 290. We're going to go to your underdog, Steelers. Yeah. A guy who had over 100 targets last year didn't get in the end zone, Deontay Johnson. Everyone's on the Pickens train this year. I know he's going to have a good year, but he's also going to be that receiver that's maybe 4 catches on 6 targets, 85 yards and a touchdown. Have the big highlight play everyone sees on Twitter and ESPN. But the guy who's going to get all the targets and run the underneath routes, maybe break some for touchdowns, is still going to be Deontay Johnson. So definitely like that. I think they break that seal right off the bat, get him the first touchdown after having 0 last year, and you won't see him again at plus 290. He's still wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh.
I love that call because we've been talking all summer long that the touchdown regression has got to swing back for Deontay Johnson with that amount of targets. So I like to just jump on it, like you said, because you get it now while it's plus 290. I'm going to go to his teammate. Again, everybody's undervaluing Najee Harris. Oh, it's going to be Jaylen Warren taking, 40% of his workload. No, it's not. And again, if he, comes out and does what Josh Jacobs did or anything remotely close and is a lot more efficient behind this very upgraded offensive line, and we think Steelers are going to win. We think Steelers are much improved. Najee gets all the high value touches by the goal line. Give me Najee Harris. He's plus money, so he's plus 120. So I like Najee Harris plus 120, anytime touchdown. That's my pick of the week. But I'll tell you what, I had Ridley written down. I love the Deontay Johnson call. I wrote down like 5 or 6 others. I mean, I'm going to have to narrow it down.
I was also going to go with Henry. Right? Yeah. It just and he's only minus 129.
Yeah.
That could be minus 180 by the end of the year.
Yes.
So I think he's another one. If I didn't go, it's just that Adams and Ridley were both plus money. So I'll give out a plus money rather than a minus.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, now we've got to the point of the show where we can talk about Thursday night football. before we jump in and do like a same game parlay or our kind of favorite first touchdown, anytime touchdown, make a same game parlay to end the show, I will touch on Showdown with you guys, but I do want you guys to be sure to check out Sibling Showdown on the FanSpeak Network. It'll be up this evening. You can watch it this evening, watch it tomorrow before you build those showdown lineups. We're going to be using Run the Sims, which is a great tool to help you kind of just see a bunch of different simulations based on what you think is going to happen in the game. And so be sure to check out Sibling Showdown tonight or tomorrow as we break down all the players, all favorite potential captains, flex plays, that kind of stuff. But, I'll go to you first, Spread. Who are you? We got the Travis Kelce questionable situation. I doubt he plays, but that obviously makes a big question mark. If he's out, then Noah Gray becomes this like obviously awesome, value play. Who are you liking as like your favorite captain? And then who are you liking in this game also, so that might help us decide how we build our lineup.
So, Tyler and I were talking before this one. I really wanted to jump in on the Chiefs at this new line. He's not necessarily sold on that yet, so we'll see if that becomes an official play. As of right now, it is not. But let's jump into this showdown real quick. Boy, everything changed with that Kelce news, right?
Yeah.
So I know we've talked about this before. A lot of the things we want to do is try and be contrarian. Now I wonder what contrarian is. I don't know where the chalk goes here. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's certain players. But as far as the builds, do you think that Lion builds will be more prevalent now, Meg?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think some more contrarian plays. I'd have to see. I'm going to have to see what the ownership's looking like for like a David Montgomery. I think people are going to be very enamored with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I wondered, with no Chris Jones, like if, David Montgomery is going to be that goal line back. I kind of like that as more of a contrarian play. I wonder if my guys and the guy that Tyler's already mentioned, like Sam Laporta, like Josh Reynolds, if you're not, deep in the weeds this year and just kind of starting to pay attention to NFL now, do you know how much of a role they could potentially play off the jump? On Run the Sims, an early look, their ownership looked fairly low to me, Reynolds and Laporta, that is like under 25%. And, Reynolds is really cheap. Laporta is very reasonable. So I think those are interesting. As far as the build, there might be more now that are more like 4-2 Lions situation. But as to who's going to be the most contrarian, I don't know. I'm thinking it might be some of those Lions secondary pieces like Laporta, Reynolds, maybe a David Montgomery. I don't know. What do you think, Tyler? Who do you think will be contrarian, and who's your favorite captains that you're looking at?
I like Pacheco here. I think the Chiefs probably try to lean on the run game a little bit more, and I still don't think Detroit's going to be able to stop the run. I think he could touch the ball 20-plus times here and just 100-plus yards, get in the end zone, and look great. But I don't feel like that's all that contrarian. When you look at their weapons, though, I don't want to captain an MVS where it's like my max is probably 4 catches, 100-some yards, and a touchdown, which he only does maybe once a year. I'm not crossing my fingers he can pull that off in week 1. Do I want to trust the younger guys like Rashee Rice, Justin Ross? Sky Moore's supposed to have an advanced role here.
Mm-hmm.
But in week 1, you probably think they trust the veterans more.
You'd think,
a guy like Richie James is like the perfect wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He's going to just run these little short routes, find the open space, and just hang out there until Mahomes finds him. I don't think he can crush the game, have 150 yards, but the guy might go get you 7 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. And at $3K in the captain spot, that could open up a lot for you. I also think he could maybe not see the field all that much, so it is a very risky play, but I don't think you see a lot of people target him.
Yeah, I wonder how much, if Kelce is ruled out, what the steam is on Noah Gray. I mean, in the flex, certainly. But
that's what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
I did a quick build here because obviously all of our prep went out the window.
Yeah.
We got that news yesterday. Yep. If you put Noah Gray in captain, you can just choose whoever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So is that what everybody's going to do? Yeah.
Which 5 players you want. And I actually just built like that right now. And I like it. But my question to you is more of a showdown specialist. Am I just asking for a split here?
I mean,
what do you think his captain ownership is going to be?
That's it. I'm going to check run this.
So here's I think the two questions, especially for the beginners, right? For people starting,
right?
What is his captain ownership going to be? And what percentage of that ownership now does it become too chalky to where I don't play it? Right. So let's say you say 35%. Well, my next question is, at Showdown Novice, was 35% too much for him to be my captain, or is it 50%? Like, what is the threshold on a chalky play to where you get away from it?
I mean, I would say, honestly, like, it would be a situation where if you felt like he was a chalky captain play, if you wanted to get different, you get different by either leaving money on the table, by kind of playing another contrarian piece, that is going to be very low owned. Because again, you only have to kind of be contrarian in one or two spots. It's not like you have to be contrarian down the board. So I would say you could get contrarian those two kind of ways. That's always kind of like when they do a lot of content around like Super Bowl, like when it's kind of just one island game and there's just a mass prize pool and everybody has 2 weeks to talk about, right? And there does seem to be like a lot of like, certain plays become more chalky. If you think it's a good chalk, I don't think you run away from good chalk. You just get different in other ways, either leaving money on the table, either finding a contrarian piece, something along those lines.
But let's say I know he's going to be 50%. What do you say? Do I take him out now, or do I
50% overall, or in
let's
the captain?
Say I know he's going to be 50% no gray captain. That's too much, right?
That's a bit high. I mean that is very high. Again, I would probably just lean into being different in other places. I mean, I'm not going to do all Noah Gray captain then. But yeah, so I would probably.
How many lineups do you usually build?
I usually build at least, I'm a hand builder. So I usually build 10 to 15 on each site. So it ranges of how confident I feel.
10 to 15 different showdowns, huh?
Yeah. On FanDuel and
DraftKings. Say you're doing 15 on DK. How many different captains do you have?
I mean, you should narrow it down. I probably have a captain pool that's too big for the amount of lineups. Like say I'm doing, like you said, 15. I think you really should narrow down the captain pool to like 3 or 4. Sometimes I do try to spread it too thin. Like, well, I'll do 5 or 6, you know what I mean? And that's probably a mistake that I need to work on. Just trying to like touch all those bases when really it's better, I think, to kind of condense on a few captains when you're playing that amount of lineups. So, I think that the answer is there's a lot of different strategies if you still want to play chalk, I guess is what I'm saying. If you still want to play chalk, that's okay. Just get different other places. Again, other contrarian plays, contrarian builds, where, if you think if you think everybody's going 4-2 Lions, then maybe do 5-1 Chiefs, or 4-2 Chiefs, something along those lines. Or again, just a simple 1 or 2 contrarian players, can just make yourself different. So, I think it's stuff like that. I don't really have absolute rules. And again, as a hand builder, I do need to narrow down my kind of captain pool when I'm only doing like 10 to 15 lineups. How about you, Tyler? How many lineups do you build and how many captains do you like to have?
I usually only play 3 and it's usually one captain and he usually gets 2 of the 3 lineups and that third lineup's just like a complete 180 script from that just in case I was that far off on the game that if I got one lineup in the dumpster all the way at one end, hopefully I flip the other one towards the other end. So it's usually how I play it.
Okay. I like it. Well, Tyler, any other, I'm looking at Run the Sims to see if I can get any ownership updates right now, but any other captains that you like?
One question for you. Is this just one of those spots where we all sit here and think about, which guy is going to be like the contrarian guy? Which guy's going to get all the targets for KC? Do we go a Detroit guy? And in the end, it's just Patrick Mahomes in the captain spot, spreading the ball out, throwing for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and one guy has every single one of them. To where not one guy just kind of got pelted with the ball. Detroit just kind of hung around and their guys didn't get there. And it's just him in the end. So that maybe I think they could go that route. I'll probably have one lineup with him in there.
Oh, I definitely think that makes sense too, especially with the way he spreads it out. I think that absolutely is a viable option, especially if Kelsey is indeed out too. So, all right. Any other final thoughts on Showdown before we talk like anytime touchdowns and same game parlay for Thursday night?
That's it for me.
All right.
Yeah, we'll defer to you guys. We'll check out that sibling showdown tonight. And
check out the sibling showdown tonight.
I threw some together right now while you guys are breaking them down. But
right now I'm looking at Run the Sims, and I think they get ownership updates as it's going to get updated more closer to lock. Right now they have Noah Gray 10% owned, and I'm venturing to guess that and that's with Kelsey kind of projected out, but I think that'll go up. It gets real time adjustments, so
one fun thing to do though is make a Noah Gray lineup, and then like Tyler said, talked about Richie James, and then just swap those, right? Yep. And that way,
there you go.
If Noah Gray busts, you have that same build with all the studs that you targeted, right? Because you can, those people, you can choose whoever. But now you're going that Richie James play, that's going to be against the field.
For sure.
That was kind of something that I was messing around with right now. I'm going to make some more. I'm making them right now with Noah Gray, but then I'm going to run them back with some Richie James.
Yeah. And my placeholders, honestly, were I know Tyler talked about this, a Josh Reynolds captain when I thought Kelsey was playing, was a Sam Laporta captain. So, maybe now if everybody does go to Noah Gray, you just stick with what you were originally going to do, because maybe those guys do become incredibly low owned in the captain. And, then you could still, then again, that's a situation where then you're probably leaving money on the table. So
I had to do it too here. I just think that this Noah Gray captain is going to be too popular.
Yeah. No, I don't have like a magic number. I just try to get it. And again, it's probably because of the amount of lineups I'm playing. I'm probably not going to make one massive fade. I'll probably then just, maybe do one or two lineups with him and the captain, get different elsewhere. And then, then I'll do other builds where I certainly will want a much lower owned captain. So we have someone coming over from Twitter. Thank you for finding us. Again, be sure to like the episode, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. Every Thursday at 3, we will be here live breaking down our NFL betting card, and you can check out our full NFL betting card at fanspeak.com. Be sure to check it out before the Thursday night game, whenever you watch this, because we will have all of our favorite picks and for all the different types of bets for Thursday night. And then, of course, we'll have it for Sunday and Monday as well. So I'll go to you guys first. I give you your first touchdown bet, which would then obviously you'd take as an anytime touchdown. So I'm going to go to you first, Tyler, because I know you've already mentioned one and I love it. So I'll go to Tyler first on this one. Give me your first touchdown, which is just the most fun sweat. It is. Just sprinkle a little something on it. You don't have to get crazy with it. And who's your first touchdown / anytime touchdown bet?
Yeah, my first touchdown / anytime touchdown bet. I don't think it's going to be the guy we talked about. I made a little pivot.
Okay.
I'm going to go Pacheco. I think he could be that first touchdown. They worked the ball on the field and just pounded in with the running back. He's 9-1 on DK, and he's plus 135 to score an anytime touchdown. I don't see McKinnon really eating into his carries, so McKinnon's going to be a little scat back that catches all the catches out of the backfield while Pacheco gets to run the ball. So he can get in there once they get close in that red zone. Love that. And one long shot, though, Meg. Richie James is 6-1 to score a touchdown.
Oh,
he
wow.
could see the field and see 5 to 6 targets. I think that's worth a shot at 6-1 when we don't know where these KC targets are going to go.
Oh, absolutely. And then I know I'll just let you talk about what was the other one you mentioned to me, because it's one of my favorite last round picks in best ball. Go ahead and give me what you mentioned the other day.
Yeah, it's still the Josh Reynolds. We talked about him. He's plus 390 now. It went down a little bit from that plus 430 when we talked.
Right.
But I mean, Jameson Williams suspended. Marvin Jones is just a deep ball or bust kind of guy. He's got the chemistry with Goff, and he's going to be wide receiver 2 here until Williams gets back. So he could easily get in the end zone here with all the focus on St. Brown. So love that at the price we're getting it at.
Yeah, I like it. It's just it's a great price for essentially, like you said, the wide receiver 2 in this offense. Spread, just for fun, first touchdown / anytime touchdown. Who do you like?
So the fun thing about the first touchdown market is I feel like you can get chalky and still get a huge payout.
Yeah,
because I'm going with the guy. I think there'll be a lot of people that give this out. But give me Amon-Ra St. Brown. With no Chris Jones, I don't think they're going to be able to pressure Goff. And we know that when you give these receivers time with this new rule where these poor defensive backs, I mean, I don't know what you have to do to be reborn a defensive back nowadays because you're supposed to cover people without touching them. But with these new rules, I just think they're uncoverable when people have time. And I don't think he's going to need to go through his progressions because we've seen this Chiefs defense. Spagnuolo, I mean, this guy, he's definitely at the beginning of the year. He's at the beginning of making his 4-course meal, right? You're getting, he definitely uses what he sees during the season to consistently improve. This defense never starts well, which means that I do believe that the main targets will be able to go off. I'll get Amon-Ra St. Brown. I got 10-1. And isn't that cool? Because it's pretty chalky, right? I mean, arguably the best player on the field if Kelsey's out, non-quarterback. Right. I get obviously arguably the best skill position player. And for my other one, boy, just an anytime touchdown, boy. Give me last year's best ball here. I'll take Jerick McKinnon at +190.
All right. I like it. Clyde, Cooper Kupp, I believe, is still questionable.
I don't think he's going to play.
I don't think he's going to play.
The lines say he's not going to play.
And Clyde, come back next week. If we get some winners this week, we will definitely do a giveaway, and you will be our first one we look at. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to give you mine. He's been my guy all summer long. My highest best ball exposure.
I already know what you were taking.
You knew what I was taking. If you see any live best ball draft with me, if you see my best ball exposures, I'm very high on samples.
You single-handedly ran his ADP up 11 points.
I don't know if I have that much power yet. I hope I have some power. I hope I have some power in the best ball streets, but I don't know if I have that much power yet. But yeah, boy, did his ADP get steamed up. Sam Laporta, I said from the very beginning, this guy's going to be the tight end one. He's the tight end one. He had to beat out like James Mitchell and Brock Wright. But here's the interesting thing and why I like his anytime touchdown and his first touchdown even. Lions tight ends, 12 touchdowns last year. Guess how many Hawkinson contributed to that? Only 3. So if you think, Hawkinson got all these touchdowns before he headed off to Minnesota. No, it was like the Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra's, James Mitchell's of the world. So give me the talented tight end that, hopefully they will utilize because they, without Jameson Williams, do need some more receivers to step up. I think Josh Reynolds is very live. I think they're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs as like a weapon receiver. And I think they're going to utilize the tight end position with Sam Laporta. So his anytime is +290. And I believe his first touchdown is 2,400. So yeah, give me 24-1 for Sam Laporta's first touchdown. Let's just have some fun with it. So that's fun because I'm going to be sprinkling in all of our anytime touchdown or anytime/first touchdowns and just going to be having a fun little sprinkle for sweats here for tomorrow night. But let's build a same game parlay and we each pick a leg. What do you say?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, Spread. I'll let you go first. 3-leg parlay. What leg do you like best on this Thursday night NFL kickoff? Thank God it's back. It can be touchdown. It can be one of the lines, totals, or just a prop, whatever you like best.
Can I just add in my Jerick McKinnon touchdown?
Yeah.
That'll be mine. Yeah,
okay.
Jerick McKinnon.
All right. I'm building it as we talk. Tyler, I'm going to you next. What do we got?
We're going to go with my anytime touchdown guy, but we're not going to go with his anytime touchdown. Take Pacheco over 49.5 rushing yards. I think that's pretty low against the Detroit rushing defense that wasn't all that good last year.
Okay, I'm building it out now. Pacheco. Okay, so we got that. And I have been debating between, Amon-Ra's line is 77.5. He gets between 9 to 15 targets when he's healthy. I was debating that, but then I thought, do I just stay on brand for this first game? Laporta's line's only 29.5. I said that I actually don't mind. I don't know if they have an alt line for him yet. They do. You know me, I'm a sucker for a good plus odds. Give me Laporta 40 plus yards. And we get this baby up to plus 1193. So we've got Jerick McKinnon anytime touchdown, Isaiah Pacheco over 49.5 yards, and Sam Laporta 40+ alt receiving yards. So this is on FanDuel, depending on your book. And I have a plus 1193. So I think that's pretty fun. And I'll put that on the sheet. I'm going to put all these things on the sheet on fanspeak.com. Check out our NFL betting card for Thursday night. Check out our NFL betting card for Sunday. Final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here of our first NFL betting card show. Final thoughts, Spread, before you head off to good old Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Let's give a bonus segment right now.
Let's do it.
Tyler, I kind of like, we hadn't talked about this. We were kind of doing our plays before we jumped on, but I think that there's value in laying some of the bigger spreads. And this week, the example will be the Commanders and the Ravens.
Love the Ravens.
The idea is that they're a little hesitant to put up huge numbers in week 1. But if these same teams played in week 10, the Commanders might be minus 10 and the Ravens might be minus 14.5. What do you think of that theory?
Yeah, I like the theory. My one kickback, I like the Commanders here. I love the narrative. Changing owners, Sam Howell now, the defense is great. The Baltimore part of it, I know they're playing a rookie quarterback, and rookies, I think the only rookie who ever won week 1 was David Carr back in 2002, which was Houston Texans' first ever win. So it'd be ironic if the next quarterback to win would be their guy.
CJ Stroud,
yeah.
But my biggest worry is them changing their offense. They could start slow. This game stays a little closer than people expect, and their defense is not what it used to be. If Stroud shows any sign of life or Dameon Pierce is able to run the ball, I could see them losing, or Baltimore winning this game by about 7 points to where you get screwed by that 10. So that's my only worry there is Baltimore. But then there's the other side of me that could see Baltimore winning that game 38-10. Lamar just shreds them.
Yeah.
Andrews has a day. But I'm staying away from that one. Love the Washington one, though.
All right.
Tyler, final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, happy the NFL's back. Can't wait to do these shows every week. I think we're going to find a ton of winners. Hopefully we can get some showdown strippers off of this show too.
Yep.
And definitely just subscribe to this channel, FanSpeak. Tune into the showdown show with you and your brother that's coming up later on tonight.
Yep.
Find some winners on that show too. And our guy Clyde in the chat's asking for a teaser. Don't hate just teasing the underdogs we picked right up. Taking the Packers up to 7.5, taking the Steelers up to 8.5. Or taking spreads Titans up to 9.5. You could do the 3-legger too. I know that's not plus EV, but some people like to do that and get the plus money on those. So that's the teaser for them, and just happy NFL's back.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to finish.
I'm doing that right now.
I love it. Get in there. I love when we can get them in live. I got some in before the show that I knew I'd be talking about, and I can't wait to get some of your guys' bets in after the show. This has been so much fun. I love doing shows with you guys. I love talking NFL with you guys. I love that NFL's back. So I am so excited to be able to do this show live with you guys every week. Join us every Thursday at 3, and be sure to check out the NFL betting card. Again, for every primetime slate, for every Sunday slate, we appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for joining us for our first ever NFL betting card. NFL is back, baby. Let's enjoy it, and let's go find some winners. We'll see you next time.